What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 29. I was gone for a couple of weeks in Las Vegas, playing some poker tournaments. Had some fun. It was a great time. But man, I'm back. I'm back, ready to grind. We had a good day today in Cage Warriors. Actually, a great day in Cage Warriors. And yeah, I mean, we're back here to give you more fucking big plus money plays. And we have a great guest today. And first off, let me introduce my co-host first. It is none other than Tim Troiano. What's up, Tim? Are you ready for this UFC London card?
Very excited. It's going to be a banger. Can't wait.
Yeah,
good
man.
Good to have you back, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. We got MMA Propaholic, Dumpy, George, Daz. We got Piaggio, Mushroom, Luke. We got a bunch of you in here. Thank you all for being here. But then now let's introduce our special guest here, one of the best MMA handicappers out there. It is my buddy, James, Lucrative MMA. What's up, James? How you doing? Are you ready for this UFC London card?
Of course, man. I'm a Londoner myself, so I have to be ready for this UFC London card. You know, I can't wait to see us English boys and girls perform, especially Nathaniel Wood, because he is the only true Londoner on the card. So definitely rooting for my boy moving up in weight. Hope you did well on the poker. Hope you got some good juju, some good luck that you're bringing in to this UFC card, to the Bellator today. But yeah, man, happy to see you on stream again. I always love doing this with you. So let's try and get a Lambo or two, or three for one of each this weekend.
For sure, brother. I love having you on. I've asked you a couple of times. I know you were busy. You were on vacation. So then I was like, I'm going to ask him this week. Let's see if he's all settled in. And yeah, man. Had a good time in Vegas. I cashed 4 out of 5 tournaments, made some money. And I've been on a roll, honestly, with MMA. It's been kind of crazy. It's been a crazy run. I'm up over 80 units this year. So it's been a great year. And we're ready to keep pushing on, man. But yeah, let's go right into it. There's 14 fights. We will start with the first fight of the night. It is Nicholas Dalby versus Claudio Silva. Tim, give us your Lambo play here.
Yeah, this fight comes out of the geriatric division of the UFC. So I'm going to take a shot on Silva by sub and Silva by sub in round 1. Sub is 5-1. Sub 1 is 11-1 on FanDuel. Just hits his path, definitely, and you're giving pretty good odds at it. So, yeah, I think he's going to do everything he can to get that. So I'll take a shot at that.
Yeah, I mean, Claudio, always dangerous early. Submission prop, plus 500. Sub 1, plus 1,100. Not bad at all. James, what do you have for us here on the first fight of the night?
Yes, so this is a big pass for me in general, just in terms of betting on it. So I don't have a super strong opinion because of that. But I guess I'll go, Silva, sub, something that you could play. I was looking at, I'll just say Nicholas Dalby in round 3, because I do believe that Claudio Silva's going to gas out like he does in, virtually every single fight these days. I mean, the dude's almost 40 years old. He might be 38 or something like that. Pretty old for a UFC fighter in general, especially at that, welterweight, lower weight class. So I think Nicholas Dalby's probably going to survive that first round grappling from Silva. He's going to be able to take it late. And I think Silva's just going to be gassed as fuck. Silva's a tough dude, but at some point, the wheels have to fall off at that age. So let's say Nicholas Dalby gets it done in round 3 here for plus 1,100 or so.
All right, Nicholas Dalby, round 3, plus 1,100. I don't mind that at all. Actually, looking at this fight, it was so funny because when I was capping, I'm like, man, fucking Silva's so old, 39 years old, And I'm looking on the other side. I'm like, oh, shit, Dalby's 37. He's not a young spring chicken. So, but to your point, I do like the round 3 prop on Nicholas Dalby here because we've seen Claudio Silva really, really slow down in that Court McGee fight, man. And to me, that's a big, outlier. Like, that's a year ago. The guy is only getting older a year later. He slows down a ton. I mean, he throws everything into his punches early. But as the fight goes on, man, he just seems to tire out. And the one thing with Court McGee that we know is he can't even bust the grape, man. So that was the problem there. If he could bust the grape, maybe he could have stopped Claudio Silva in that fight. But not to say Nicholas Dalby is a big finisher himself, but I think he has the better cardio here. And I do think when you look at him historically, he's got a lot of late round finishes, round 3, round 4, multiple times, right? And now you're getting him against a guy that gasses. If you know this guy has the ability to finish late and he's done it a bunch of times, why not take a shot at that plus 1100 round 3 on Nicholas Dalby? That's the way I'm going to go with my Lambo play here, and I do think it might be live is if he's able to survive the early onslaught from Silva. Moving on, it's fight number 2. It's Mandy Baum versus Victoria Leonardo. I will give this one off to you, James, since I know you love these low-level women's MMA. So close your eyes and see what you can come up with as a Lambo play here.
I love these low-level women's MMA when you have a massive underdog like we did today in Vita Ortega, plus 230 over Vanessa Porto. We cashed that there. But in this fight, you're getting a minus 110 apiece. You know, I think at one point Leonardo was like plus 140, but she's been bet down. Honestly, man, I think this fight goes to decision. And then when you're looking at both girls' decision props, there's no Lambos to be bought from those, right? So then we have to look elsewhere. So what's the other likely scenario if it doesn't go to decision? Probably Leonardo gets on top and is able to pound her out. So we're going to go Victoria Leonardo via TKO. It's plus 1,600. It's plus 1,200. I don't really want to tell anyone to play this, but it's Lambo plays. So if you have to get a Lambo on this fight, I think that's probably the way you're going to get it. So Leonardo TKO plus 1,200, plus 13, plus 14, whatever book you have.
All right, Leonardo plus 1,200, plus 1,300, whatever book you have by KO. Well, I will give you one that goes to decision, James. I will give you the fight ends in split decision at plus 400 either way, because one of them is Mandy Baum and the other one is, I mean, you can give her the same last name. She's pretty much a bum. And this is as low level as it gets in women's MMA, honestly. It could be like one of those back and forth scrappy fight. No, both girls are not really technical. Both girls are not really good at the MMA thing. And I do see it kind of playing close. You know, one girl pumps out more of the volume like Leonardo, but she's very sloppy doing a lot of her things. Not to say that Mandy Baum is some like great striker, because she really isn't. So I just see a slot fest, to be honest. And in a slot fest like this that I think goes to decision most of the time, I don't think there's a lot of finishing upside here. Split decision, plus 400 either way. I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to go with fight ends in split decision, plus 400 here. What do you have here, Tim, for your Lambo play?
I had a question for James, actually. Did you think it happens in the second, third? Do you think it happens early with that KO, that it's kind of like an attritional, she just tires her the fuck out with their style and breaks her down like round 2, round 3?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it happens at all, you know, but in terms of a Lambo, I kind of had to make it happen. I never look at these split decision props. I know Timothy is the uncrowned king of the split decision props. I don't actually have a book which can I can't play that myself, so I never look at it. If I was looking at it, I would probably have gone with that one, honestly, because I do think it's going to. I think Mandy Baum probably wins a split decision here, and everyone's screaming with the plus 140 ticket on MMA Twitter. Like, we always get 1 or 2 of those every week, right? Those plus EV bets that don't cash, or potential plus EV bets. I guess it's via attritional damage, 2 or 3. Mandy Baum gets a little bit gassed. It could be in the first round, man, where she just can't get out of a easy position to get out of just because she's so low level. So I think I've spoke way too much about this fight.
Sorry, I apologize totally. My bad.
James, this is not your fault. This is Tim's fault.
It was my bad. I apologize to the entire chat, everybody who ever watches this in the history of this show. I apologize to everybody. Moving forward. Split decision. Same one, 8-1 for Mandy, 10-1 for Leonardo. So actually, the plus 400, like you can split them and make the bet both sides, and then you're going to do pretty good. This fight sucks. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the giant. Like South Park did the episode years ago on they did a vote between the turd sandwich and the giant douche, and this is this fight right here. People are betting on that fight.
Yeah, it's probably really close. Die Hard in the house. What's up, Die Hard? How you doing? He likes round 3 TKO plus 3,500 for Leonardo. I'm assuming that is right. Yeah. Let's move on. That's enough talking about that terrible fight. We'll move on to fight number 3. It's going to be a banger. Jai Herbert versus Kyle Nelson. I like violence here, man. I like a lot of violence here. I do actually have a bet on Nelson KO1 at plus 1,400. That line is currently gone. It's down to 950. But I just see violence, man. Nelson throws very hard. Herbert's chin is very iffy. And I just think, it's either Nelson KOing him or Nelson getting KO'd, to be honest, because he kind of blows his wad pretty early. And if he doesn't get it, he's probably going to get knocked out. So I'm going to give you Nelson KO1. It's plus 950 now. I still think that's very live. That's an outcome that I could see happening because Nelson hurt Billy Quarantillo in the last fight. And we know how durable Billy Quarantillo is. So I think you put Herbert in that spot where, Nelson landed that punch, it might knock out Jai Herbert, to be honest. So plus 950, round 1 KO on Nelson is the way I'm going to go. Tim.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take a small stab at that as a hedge. I don't think the money line on Herbert is just crazy at this point. I do think he's a better fighter, but the chin is a real thing. And him just getting knocked out like 4 months ago, not in an easy fashion whatsoever. Like this was not like a ground and pound, like, oh, we got to stop this. This was like just lights out. You're fucking dead. So I like that bet. I'm going to take a stab on the other side. I'm going to take a stab on Jai Herbert round 2 is plus 470 versus the KO2 is just a shit line is plus 500. So just on the case that he might sub him there, which as a crazy line too is 16-1 is sub line for Herbert, which is kind of nuts. He could sub him when Nelson gets tired in the fight. So I did take a small stab on like the sub prop. It's like 16-1 and then sub 2 is like 50-1. So I think round 2, when it hits round 2, I think Herbert's going to start having more success in this fight. I don't think it hits round 3, and if it does, I think he'll even have more success then. But I think he gets him out in round 2.
Damn it, Tim! It's 1 Lambo play, not 16.
Only two.
Luke James, what do you got here for your Lambo play?
So I'm sorry I can't give you a different Lambo play. I had 2 on the lineup, just so we don't all give the same one, because there are different outcomes of a fight, right? We see different outcomes. Both of the outcomes I see, you've both just said. So I did a little post on Twitter earlier in the week. I said, Kyle Nelson, I'll read it now. Kyle Nelson is a tough one. He's plus 220, but can probably randomly nuke Jai early, which is what Narco said, round 1. He's also got a grappling path and an improved physique after a 2-year layoff. In all likelihood, though, Jai finishes him, which is what Timothy said, big striking advantage. So, look, he's got a lot of round 1 KOs. He hits hard. He hurt Billy. He didn't knock him out. Finished himself in round 3. He's a kill or be killed fighter. Violence is very high probability in this fight, in my opinion. Kyle Nelson can come out and hurt Jai in that round 1, 100%. Plus 1,400. I can't say anyone is silly for taking that shot. But I feel like he's going to get hurt in that round 1. And I think he's going to dive for legs. I do think he's going to get Jai Herbert down. I don't really rate Jai Herbert's takedown defense too. His takedown defense is not bad, but he'll get back up to his feet. His ground game's not the best. His jiu-jitsu. I feel like when it gets into round 2, Kyle Nelson is going to be quite gassed. He's going to have been hurt in round 1. He's going to be kind of tired for trying to take Jai down in round 1. And Jai is going to be landing. He's a much cleaner striker, much more technical. And I do think he's probably going to get a KO in round 2. So we'll stick with the Jai Herbert in round 2, just because we avoid the KO at plus 475 there.
All right, Jai Herbert round 2 plus 475. Yeah, he should have the reach advantage too is pretty big here. And we have Nelson moving up. Moving on, fight number 4. It's one of the most talked about fights this week. It's Mokayev versus Charles Johnson. Tim, kick this one off for your Lambo play.
Yeah, I got a little bit of took a very small stab at Johnson by split decision at 25-1. I think, like, you know, if he can get out of round 1, which is going to be tough. If he can get out of round 1 and stretch this out, this fight changes a lot, and we'll start to see something on Mokayev that we probably haven't seen, and he'll be tested in a way that I hope gives us a chance. Being obviously in London, he's going to have the crowd favorites, like the crowd rooting for everything he does, and maybe some judges. So perhaps even if Johnson wins what we see as a unanimous decision, maybe you steal one judge at 25-1. So points is pretty solid for him too. Money line is a fucking Lambo. So yeah, it's I bet his money line very, very light. I just put like a unit on it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a tough fight for him, but I think the numbers just kind of way off. So I took a shot.
Right. All over that Johnson side. James, what do you have here?
I have Charles Johnson money line. That's a Lambo play in and of itself. I don't want to get cute with the decision. I don't want to get cute with the finish, because we have never seen Mokayev tested in the way that I believe Charles Johnson can potentially test him. So it could be the fact that, look, I like the Charles Johnson decision. Earlier in the week, it was plus 1,000. He's not a type of fighter that, he's not an out-and-out finisher. He's got some finishes on his record, but even in his last fight, it took him to round 5 to finish that Motta fighter, 6-0 there. So Mokayev, if he is put under some pressure, under some test, which he hasn't seen before, how will he react? We don't know. Is he going to just crumble at the first sign of, pressure? Like what happened to Max Roshkov, the legendary Max Roshkov when he came in the UFC. As soon as he got some what's resistance, he crumbled, and he quit on the stall. Who knows that Mokayev, if he gets resistance, is going to be able to last to that plus 900 decision line. So we won't get cute with it. We're going to stick with the money line. It's plus 410 best price, plus 350 worst price. So that's a Lambo play in and of itself. Charles Johnson money line. I'll be on it small. I still kind of think Mokayev wins this fight, but we have to play it out of principle, in my opinion. Such a young guy, so little test in the pro ranks. So I'm going to be on it myself.
Yeah, I mean, you could just rewind what you just said, and I feel like literally the same thing. I kind of feel like, earlier, like maybe a week or two before, I kind of was feeling more of the Johnson side. But as I taped and I looked at more stuff, I think the takedowns are going to kind of be there. But Johnson is going to work. That's the thing. Like, he's not going to just settle. He's going to keep working. He's a big guy. He's pretty strong. He's athletic. All those things that you need against a guy like Mokayev, like Charles Johnson actually has them. He has a lot of experience, even though, when you look at his record, like only 13 fights, but in our spaces, when you look at his amateur career, only shows 6 fights, but he told us he has 24 amateur fights, but they're not on Tapology for whatever reason. The thing here is, like, I didn't take the money line yet. That's what I'm going to give as my Lambo play, but I'm just waiting because I keep seeing the line going up, and it's 410 now. And I think by game time, close tomorrow, it's going to be maybe 450 and 460. So why am I going to just take it now? Because I know the whole UK is going to be on Mokayev. A lot of people are just going to be parlaying Mokayev. So I'm just sitting back. I'm waiting. I'm going to take a small stab on Johnson, maybe in the range of 450. I think that's where it's going to land, around 430, 450. Yeah, I mean, You mentioned it. The guy's 21 years old. He's never been tested, really. The one test that I've watched on tape, and he clearly was uncomfortable in that test, was against Abdul Hussein. Like, he did not look great in that fight. And who's better, Abdul Hussein or a guy like Charles Johnson? And I think Charles Johnson is the better fighter. I think Charles Johnson gives him more resistance. So with that being said, I think I'm going to play that money line, 410. That's what I'm going to give you. That's what it is now. And we will move on from there. Fight number 5, it is McCann Amirkhani versus Jonathan Pearce. Kick this one off, James.
Yeah, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Amirkhani via submission in round 1. Look, Jonathan Pearce is going to push the grappling here. He knows no other way. And if for some reason he's like, you know what? I know how good Amirkhani is with the front chokes, anaconda, guillotine. I'm not going to push grappling in this fight, which he won't. Then Amirkhani is going to push grappling in this fight. The fight is 100% going to be in the grappling realm. And if it is, Jonathan Pearce, I don't think he's extremely defensively responsible in terms of his takedown entries. And when he tries to get somebody from a clinch takedown, a double leg, whatever he does, I don't think he's defensively responsible with his head position. Honestly, we've seen him choked out on the regional scene. We've seen him almost choked out against Christian Rodriguez. Quick shout out to Christian, because I know me and Narco both like that dude. And that was short notice fight for Christian. It was also upper weight class. He was put in a tight guillotine there. If he gets put in a tight guillotine against a big guy in Amirkhani, who's, in my opinion, a lot better than Christian with that front headlock series, it could be night-night. So I think everybody's on McCann sub here. We're just going to go McCann sub in round 1 because someone in the chat said that Charles Johnson money line was a Cadillac. And this is a Lambo play. We don't want to be driving Cadillacs. We're looking for the Lambos, for the Bugattis. So we're going to go Amirkhani by sub, but also add the round 1 onto it to make it a Lambo play. So Amirkhani via sub is about 350. That's what I jumped in at. Don't know whether it's changed now. That was a couple of days ago. And I'm just looking for Amirkhani sub in round 1 right now. Don't know if any of you guys see the price.
800.
800. So we're going to improve the 300 to 800. I think it's going to have its chances, whether it's going to happen or not. I don't think it's going to look like a bad bet after the fact. And that's what we always want when betting, right? We want to see our bets, how they perform in hindsight. Was it a good bet or bad? I think it's going to be a good bet no matter what happens, honestly. I think it's going to have its chances. So let's go.
Yeah, I like it. I have a play on it at plus 850. But I'm going to give a little bit of a different one since you gave that one. And the one I like here is Jonathan Pearce, round 3, submission, plus 2,700. Listen, it's a thing of cardio here. Pearce definitely has the way better cardio here. You saw him against Christian Rodriguez. Like, he put in Christian Rodriguez in some deep spots. But Christian Rodriguez, to me, has a lot more dog in him than Amirkhani does. And with that being said, I also think Christian Rodriguez has a lot better cardio than Amirkhani has. So the one thing I will say is Pearce is not going to stop. And if Amirkhani doesn't stop him early, Pearce is just going to keep coming. He's going to keep grinding. And come round 3, I really think Amirkhani is going to be gassed out in this fight. And he's the better submission grappler. But when you're fucking tired and you can't defend for shit, I think the submission is very live for Jonathan Pearce round 3, and it's plus 2,700. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Pearce, round 3 submission, plus 2,700. Tim, what do you have here?
Yeah, I love both of your plays. I'm actually going to be betting both of those. So I tend to, like, when I'm trying to make these bets and I have like multiple bets played, let's say I bet like 3 bets in this fight, I try to percentage it out as to which ones I think happen obviously the most, look at the lines. The McCann sub gives me a chance to bet the Pearce round 2, round 3 props pretty aggressively. But I think the round 3, like you're saying, I think the sub is so good because they're not pricing it close to like the KO prop at all. And they do this, we're going to talk about this in another fight later on. It's like, if you hit the round 2 and you hit the round 3 prop and then you hit the sub 2, sub 3, you can cash huge when this happens. Like, you don't have to like think KO too, because it's most likely he's going to KO. It's like you're taking the shortest line. Like, just hit up the round 2. It's slightly shorter, and then hit up the sub 2-3, like you just said. And you're pretty golden. So I'll take a shot just instead of a little different than yours. Just I'll take sub. It would be sub 2-3 or just round 2 or 3, pretty much for Pearce. I think like he does outlast Mac 1, and if he doesn't, he's subbed in the first round. So you're pretty much covered on all these huge bets.
Can I ask you guys' opinion? Just one quick one on this Mac 1 fight, because you kind of conventional wisdom is if Mac 1 don't get the round 1 sub, and I think he's actually live for the sub in 2 and 3 because Pearce is such a lunatic. He's always going to put himself in those positions. But conventional wisdom, if Mac 1 don't get the sub in round 1, Pearce is going to break him, right? I think fight doesn't go. It's like -250. It's pretty juiced. But guys, Mac 1 doesn't really get finished. Like, he really doesn't. I know he gasses out every single fight, but he's a tough motherfucker, man. I mean, he's gassed, but he doesn't go away. Now, his last fight, or the fight before that, before the Grundy fight, Lerone Murphy, he dominated round 1, and he got hit with a crazy flying knee. That's gonna knock out Francis Ngannou. So we're gonna give him a pass for that one, in my opinion, right? And the only other time he's been finished was against Shane Burgos with 28 seconds left in that fight. So the margins are very thin for him getting finished there. 28 seconds goes and he doesn't get finished against Shane Burgos, which is like the number 1 prototype to finish McCann Amirkhani is Shane Burgos, someone who's unfinishable and who's going to push the pace. He's gone to decision against Edson Barbosa. Arnold Allen was a split decision. So, I mean, banking on Pearce to get the finish in round 2 and 3. And I know this is Lambo plays, but I'm just talking about the fight in general. I think a lot of people are going to be heavy on those finishing props, but I feel like McCann Amirkhani is the finisher in this fight. I know Pearce is a finisher in himself, but I think it might be a crazy one where it potentially could go to decision because McCann he is tough. But, I just wanted to see how you guys thought about that one.
Yeah, so I've said this on prior Amirkhani fights where a lot of people were on late round props against him and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, this guy really doesn't get finished. Like, yeah, he got kneed to the head that anybody would get finished against Lerone Murphy. And then he broke, because Burgos just kept throwing and throwing. The only reason why I like it in this specific fight is because Jonathan Pearce really grapples heavy, really brings a crazy pace to these fights. And it's something that he hasn't really faced. That's the issue I see here. He tires out from different types of paces. This type of pace here, I think, breaks him a lot more. And Jonathan Pearce is going to keep pushing the grappling. And that's where I see him breaking eventually. And that's why I like the late round prop. Not because I think Amirkhani's not durable. I do think he's durable. But I think in this fight, I think the pace is going to be different than these other fights. Most of these other fights were, against Barbosa, there's a lot of striking, against all of these guys, really. It's mostly striking fights. And then now you're facing a guy that's really going to grapple heavy, I think, even late, that has a very, very good gas tank. And that's where I see him breaking possibly, So maybe I'm wrong.
I respect that. I understand.
I think I actually was talking with Chad in his last spaces just before we came on here about the same exact thing. And I said, because we were on the exact same props in his last fight against Rodriguez. And I agree with you. I think Makwan's got, it's the same thing I was thinking about Silva versus Dalby. Like, Silva doesn't get finished. Like, he hasn't been finished yet. We're banking on, like, he's tough. He does gas completely the fuck out, but he doesn't, he's not like you totally useless in there where you're just going to be able to kill him. So I think you're right. I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility where people are going to be overexposed on violence bets here. I think you can hedge it. I mean, the line for him by points is, I think, plus 280 or something like that. So if you do have violence bets, you can probably hedge it a little bit easier that way if you wanted to take a shot. I don't think Amirkhani's winning a decision in this situation ever, pretty much. I think is like under 10% outcome on that or lower. So yeah, points for him is definitely a possibility. So if you are, don't be overexposed on that. I agree.
All right. You have anything else you want to add, James? I don't want to keep moving on if you have anything else.
No, that was honestly just it, because I just thought like a lot from what I've seen. You know, a lot of people are maybe overlooking the toughness of Amirkhani, and but I just wanted to get you guys' opinions. But I agree.
I love your points. I agree with your points. I just feel like it's a little bit different than some of his other fights, in my opinion. But moving on, it is fight number 6. It is Nathaniel Wood versus Charles Rosa. I will kick this one off, and to be frank, I don't want to give a Lambo play here because I really don't think there is one. And my tracked play here is Wood by decision, -130. I really like that play. Wood is moving up here to 145. Charles Rosa is moving down to 45. But, man, fucking Rosa, you have to literally take a baseball bat and start hammering this guy with it. Knock him unconscious and then sub him maybe, and then he'll be out of there, because it's extremely hard to get this guy out of there. He's tough. He's durable. He kind of fights not to get stopped in some sense too, if that makes sense. But he really doesn't go for it much. And Nathaniel Wood just can piece him up on the feet if he wants. And, stay away maybe from the grappling, but it's not like Rosa is such a proactive grappler and does anything great. Defensively, though, he's really good. It's hard to sub this guy. So I'm just going to give out the Wood decision. It's -130. I think it has value, honestly, at -130. When you're turning a guy like Wood that's -600 now into -130, and I think that's his most likely path, it's pretty good. Tim, what do you like?
Yeah, what you said, pass on this fight.
All right. That was nice and sweet and short. James, anything?
I gotta lie. I can't lie, man. I'm disappointed in you two guys. This is Lambo plays, okay? And you're giving out -110s, and then you're passing, which is...
I don't pass ever, James. I don't ever pass. Ask Mike. I never pass. I never pass. This is the biggest pass I've ever seen. Like I can't even say split on this decision, like, because I can't see it. I can't see it. Like, it's just he's right.
I can't give the people with a straight face a Lambo play here. I
swear. I honestly, like, sometimes when this does happen, where we look at a fight and we go like -110 is like what the decision for, like, whatever, a WMMA fight, which we know it's like -700 to go to decision, is like, all right, this is actually truly good value. But I've got nothing on this one. I think he's totally right. I think Wood wins a decision at a very, very high clip. Yeah, and I mean, somebody breaks something, he's not. I don't think he's going to sub Rosa, and maybe he bonks him, but I just don't. I think it's super low percentage.
Well, look, we have to remember, right? First of all, this is Lambo play, so I'm going to give a Lambo play out for the people. But we also have to remember that not too long ago, Rafael dos Anjos won a split decision against Paul Felder, okay? He won a split decision in that spot, all right? That was a 50-43 beatdown, and he won a split decision. These judges don't know what fighter is what sometimes. Man, Nathaniel Wood, by split or majority decision, you don't know. Charles Rosa gets the backpack 10-8. You don't know whether 2 rounds are close. Look, at the end of the day, Nathaniel Wood is moving up. He's never fought at this weight class in the UFC, to my knowledge. Charles Rosa is going to be bigger in there. We got to give a Lambo play out, guys. It's +500. Nathaniel Wood split or majority decision. So we'll roll with that and bank on the incompetency of the judges.
Now that's why I asked James to come on the show all the time. See, he never fails the audience. Me and Tim, the two cowards of the show today, did not give you a Lambo play, but look, James is here for the people, and he still gave you a Lambo play here. Thank you, James. I salute you.
And if you hit a split when I don't, that's you're on the board.
And Tim didn't even give a split.
Yeah, you're on the board then.
Quick question from Die Hard. Anybody take Silva sub? I missed the first one. Yes. Tim liked the Silva sub. I kind of like the Silva sub early. But me and James are on late round prop for Dalby. Yeah, I mean, Mushroom says Wood, third decision. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like Rosa's like, I don't know. I don't. If you're gonna play him, like maybe that split, like maybe incompetent judges fuck it up, and somehow we get that split decision, and James looks like a genius here. Moving on, we'll move on to fight number 7. It is Mark Diakiese versus Damir Hadzovic. Tim, what do you have here?
I've said this, in spaces all week. I've kind of taken a hot take on this one. And after I had the hot take, Diakiese did actually post a tweet today saying that he's learning some new things and he can't wait to try them out in the octagon. I'm on Diakiese by sub at 13-1. I feel like he went for a little bit more in his grappling in his last fight against Slava, and I think that went with a decision to strike with this guy, and he actually struck with Fiziev really, really well over 3 rounds. So pre-fight on that fight, I actually was kind of banking on the fact that he was going to do that and not wrestle, and I was wrong. So I was on the Slava side on that fight. And that was super impressive from a fight IQ standpoint that he just relentlessly wrestled him. And if he does that again in this fight, and Hadzovic in multiple fights has given up his back when he gets taken down. A stiff wind can knock him down. And it's it just really is just so there. The takedowns are so there. So 13-1 on sub is a little bit crazy. I think he had the back and he went for a sub against Slava, and I think that could actually happen here as well. So yeah, I love sub for 13-1 here. I think it's again, he hasn't shown to do it very much. So there's a lot of people that are what's he talking about? He's not very aggressive. He's just going to be position over submission. And I agree, he usually does that. But I think that there's a chance with who he's fighting and his deficiencies when trying to do get-ups is where I'm attacking.
All right. Submission for Tim for Diakiese. James, what do you got here for your Lambo play?
Yeah, I know everyone's super confident on Diakiese. I don't like the -400, honestly. I think it's dumb. I think it was Martian UFO on Twitter. He posted up that on Twitter the other day, he posted that the market doesn't know how to judge Diakiese fights. He was -200 against Fiziev, then he was +140 against Slava, and then there was a couple he chucked in there as well. I was actually on him in his last fight against Slava at +140, and honestly, he grappled him for 14 out of the 15 minutes and couldn't get a submission against a kickboxer, So I was very impressed, but when we're talking about the submission which Timothy gave out, if he doesn't sub Slava, kind of find it hard to feel, to see him subbing Damir here. I actually think for my Lambo play, I'm going to give out Damir Hadzovic via decision at +500. I think Damir is a better boxer than Mark Diakiese. I think he's good at getting back up to his feet. I think Diakiese won't be able to grapple fuck him as much as he did Slava. And I just feel there's a world in which it's a close fight. Now, if it is a close fight, who the fuck knows who's going to get the decision, right? I'm picking Diakiese to win the fight, right? I want to make that clear. I think Mark Diakiese wins that fight, but I haven't got a bet on him. I don't have him in a parlay. I don't have him in, any decision submission props. I just think Damir is good at getting back to his feet, and I think he's a better boxer. So them two things combined, I think Diakiese is better at kicking range. He's a better kicker, and he's probably a better offensive grappler. But other than that, I think it's kind of close. I think they're kind of on the same level in terms of just MMA. I don't think one's, so much better than the other. So yeah, I'm taking Hadzovic via decision. I'm not playing it myself in general, but for the Lambo plays, I think it's not a bad shot.
All right, James, you must be in my head because you can ask Tim. Before we got on this show, we were talking about this specific thing, and I said literally verbatim the same exact thing you said about Damir Hadzovic and Diakiese. I said he had 14 minutes of control on Slava, who's not a grappler whatsoever, never really came close to a sub in that fight. And when you look historically with this guy, he's really never gone for submissions. And I do think people are underrating Demir's submission defense. If you watch the Alan Patrick fight, Alan Patrick had his back for a lot of that fight, and he couldn't. Who's the better grappler, Alan Patrick or Mark Diakiese, submission grappler? It's Alan Patrick by far. So it's like I see the number there that's sticking out, and we know that possibly he's going to grapple. I feel like the same way. I think Demir's get-up game is pretty good. I don't think Mark is going to be able to hold him down like he did to Slava. And I do think kind of this fight is going to be close. So split decision is plus 500 either way. I don't mind that. I think it's going to be a closer fight than most people think. And to be honest, like this line is kind of crazy, man. Minus 430 on Diakiese. And, do we actually know for sure that he's going to be proactively grappling like crazy like he did against Slava? We really don't. Like, he doesn't do it every fight. So, there's a lot of question marks, and you're going to lay minus 430 with this guy. I don't like it whatsoever. I'm going to give out the split decision prop again. Since Tim is not doing it, I will give out the split decision plus 500 here either way. Yeah.
Demir split 18-1.
What is it? Yeah, Demir split is 18-1. Correct. But I think he could go either way. And the thing that I didn't want to give Demir is the fact that, Diakiese's kind of a hometown guy here, and he might get that judge's rub here. So that's why I just gave the split. Because I think if it's close, Demir's going to be in for it. I don't think he's going to get that nod. So we'll move on. Fight number 8. It is Leavitt Klein versus Mason Jones. James, kick this one off.
I'm going to kick this one off. I've been very vocal about this one. I don't know if you guys have been following my podcast. I think I did it yesterday, but I'm very vocal about this one, yeah? Look, I'm really high on Mason Jones inside the distance this week. I said it on the Spaces a few days ago, and then I said it again on my podcast. But that's only plus 100, right? So we can't be giving that out. But I don't understand why they have the TKO line for Mason Jones and the submission line so widely apart. Now, since I've been extremely vocal, since I've given it out to all my members on my website, since a few other people have been on it as well, since what I hear in the Spaces, the line may have come down a bit. But I jumped on Mason Jones via submission at plus 800. His TKO line was plus 150. And his TKO line was plus 155. And his submission line was plus 800, which is absolutely ludicrous, because Leavitt is going to get taken down in this fight, in my opinion. And if he does get taken down, he's going to be taken down and worn out. Mason Jones is a terrible matchup for Leavitt Klein, Leavitt Klein is banking on a first-round head kick, which he has very good head kicks and he has very good setups, so it could happen. But Mason Jones is, one of the worst fighters for Leavitt to fight, in my opinion. He's like a Shane Burgos type. He's going to come forward. He's almost un-KOable. He's going to take shots, but he doesn't care because he's going to push you up against the cage. He's going to make it dirty. He's like a street brawler, but a very good one, right? He's not going to be technical like Leavitt, jab, stay on the outside, leg kick, turn off into the distance. He's not doing that. The guy's a marauder, coming forward, heavy hooks, heavy body shots, He's nasty in there. He's going to take you down. He's going to cover your mouth. He's going to elbow you in the face, going to put his head on your head. This type of fighting is the type of fighting, in my opinion, that Leavitt does not like. We saw it against Trezano. He didn't like that pressure. Sorry?
No, I was trying to remind Nate Landwehr.
Yeah, Nate, he didn't like it against Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr was able to get a submission. I think Nate Landwehr, that was his second or first submission on his record. And the guy's been fighting forever, and his first submission come against Leavitt Klein. Leavitt Klein is very tough to stop with strikes. He's never been stopped with strikes in his professional career. So if I think Mason Jones is going to stop him, he recently got stopped via submission. I know Mason Jones goes for takedowns. He's a judo practitioner, very high-level judo fighter. He's a black belt in judo. So he's going to go for takedowns. He went for takedowns against David Onama. He took David Onama's back multiple times, tried to submit David Onama. Man, I think this is the writing on the wall for Mason Jones to get stoppage. And I honestly think the submission, it could even be favored over the TKO in this spot. It's 50-50, if not 60-40 to the submission. The submission right now is plus 650, plus 700. So Mason Jones via submission. Probably everyone's going to be on the same one in this spot, I would assume. Maybe you go for the round 2, round 3 submission to perk up that price, because I don't think it's going to come in round 1. He's more of an attrition fighter. But yeah, man, I'm really high on Mason Jones' side of distance this weekend, and I'll be taking the submission prop as the Lambo play this week.
Yeah, man. I mean, whatever you said is what I thought earlier in the week. I hammered Jones all over the place. I mean, plus 4,500 round 3 sub. Are these fucking books crazy? Are they? Do they not watch these fights? What's going on? Like, Mason Jones is gonna pressure the shit out of Ludovic Klein. Ludovic Klein needs space. He likes space. He likes to kick. Most of his striking is his kicking game, and he needs the space to have that. You think Mason Jones, the way he fights, is gonna give this guy space? There's no fucking way. Not to mention, look at his 2 losses. Who are they against? Mike Trizano, Nate Landwehr. Both guys that pressured him, didn't give him space. He didn't like that, and he lost both fights. Now, you're talking about a guy in Mason Jones that is crazier than those 2 guys combined, and he's going to fucking grapple proactively like crazy. He's going to be the bigger guy because Ludovic Klein is moving up to 55. So he's going to face a real 55er now. And Ludovic Klein slows down in round 3 while Mason Jones is going crazy in round 3. Like, honestly, this line got hit, this submission line, it's plus 3,500, but it's still crazy value, guys. This is crazy value. I have submission. I have round 3 submission. I have round 2 submission. I have inside the distance. You name it, I like the Jones side here. This fight is, in my opinion, is not seeing the scorecards. He's going to stop Ludovic Klein one way or another. Hopefully it's by sub, but the writing is on the wall, like you said. I really like the Jones side. I'm higher on Jones than a lot of people. I think the guy has attributes that are very good in MMA. Very good cardio, insane durability, and the guy has a nonstop motor. He will keep coming. Even though you're battering him, he's going to keep coming. And a lot of guys break. There's a lot of guys that just break. They can't handle it. And, go look at the war against Mike Davis. I mean, that's an absolute fucking war. Tell me if a lot of guys can take those shots from Mike Davis that Mike Davis landed on that. And to not be, if I'm not mistaken, he took that fight on very short notice against Mike Davis. So, I love the Jones side. I think he stops this guy and he destroys him at some point. Tim, what do you have?
You pulled a me there. You put like 7 bets out there. I love it. That's I'm all over it. The same bets. No need to keep telling you guys what we think is going to happen in this fight. Inside the distance, Mason Jones, round 2, round 3, sub 2, sub 3. Yep.
Yeah, I hope it comes through, man, because I will be cashing huge tickets if that thing comes through.
That was my Ricky Simone last week was that, and then Lemos was that too, with the whole sub with her.
I mean, the sub prop alone, like James said, like plus 800, like, are these fucking guys like not watching? Or I don't know how they're capping these. Maybe they're just looking at his record. Oh, he doesn't have a lot of subs. This guy's only been sub 2 times. Well, it's not likely to happen. So plus 800, I guess. I don't know. But how do you look at his record and say KOs plus 150? Why? He's never been KO'd.
No, I think he was KO'd once.
No, he's not. Aiden Lee subbed him, I believe. It was
like early 2017. I think some dude subbed him, or not.
Oh, he did. I thought Klein's never been subbed. Okay.
Tapology lists it as a loss.
Yeah. Oh,
so
maybe that's a KO.
It was Igor Taritsa.
Okay.
2017.
Igor Taritsa got him early in his career. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Let's move on. We killed that fight. Fight number 9 is Paul Bear Jew Craig versus Volkan Oezdemir. I can kick this one off. I mean, listen, I like this fight. I like violence here again, under 2.5. I think this fight doesn't get there to the decision. Last time, Paul Craig I had again the under against Krylov, and that was money. This guy has only been to this decision one time in his career, and that was against a washed up Shogun Hua. Volkan hits hard, and Paul Craig is always live to get the sub, guys. Like it really is, and I had to throw like submission 3 here. It's plus 1,200. Like I just had to, because this guy always pulls them out of his ass, and it's plus 1,200. I do like the under 2.5 a lot here, but I'm gonna hedge with Paul Craig submission plus 1,200 round 3, because I really think most of the equity in the late round stoppage might come from Paul Craig. So yeah, round 3 sub Paul Craig plus 1,200. Tim, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on all the rectally derived subs that Paul Craig is coming up with here. It's pretty amazing. I was talking about this in the spaces, like Luke, Sparring with Reality, was talking about it on Club and Sub podcast, that like 6 out of the 8 of Paul Craig's subs come from guys knocking him down and then jumping into his guard, or just simply trying to wrestle him and get him to the ground like absolute apes. So I just don't see that happening from Volkan. Whether or not he can get him down, that's a different, his takedown percentage and offense is pretty shitty, and the defense against way more elite wrestlers on the Volkan side is solid, 80% against dudes who really have a lot of success wrestling. So I think Volkan gets him out of there in the first 2 rounds at KO 1 plus 380, KO 2 plus 750. I'll probably have bets on both those.
All right, Volkan 1 and 2. Actually, the round 3 I wrote down sub, but just take round 3. It's plus 1,100. It's 100 points difference. There's no reason to mess around with sub only, because it's 100 points. You never know if he gets on top. He might be able to get a TKO. But yeah, James, what do you have?
Yeah, I'll go the other way. I'll say Craig gets another submission. Look, he can do it against anyone. He honestly can. I don't really think, there's certain fighters he can't do it against. I think he can. I mean, obviously, maybe, the best of the best, but I think he can probably do it like anybody. So Craig sub in round 1 when they're all dry, when Volkan isn't, necessarily switched on. Plus 400, plus 450, plus 420 range. So yeah, we'll go with Craig sub in round 1.
Actually, you can get plus 550 if you guys want it on FanDuel. So a little better than that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can sub him any round. I mean, this fucking guy is unbelievable with these submissions. What were you saying?
I said they're not giving a great hedge line on the sub, but the sub 1, if you want to try to get greasy on a round, you might be able to do it. It's not that great.
Yeah. Moving on, it's fight number 10. It's Molly McCann versus Hannah Goldie. You can kick this one off, James. Or no, sorry, it's Tim. Go ahead.
I'll take a shot on fight ends in split decision plus 700 on DraftKings. I actually think it's a McCann by points most of the time, but yeah, I'll take a shot on women's MMA greasy takedown by either side, and then just some meme armbar, the worst position ever.
All right, split decision. James, what do you like here?
No split decision, and ends in submission.
Oh, ends in submission. Sorry, ends in submission. All right, James, what do you like here?
Yeah, so I'll go with Molly McCann TKO. It's plus 400. I kind of think like Hannah Goldie has that quit in her. I do think that. Hasn't necessarily shown it because she's never been stopped, but I don't know, man. Maybe not that quit in her. I just feel like she can be stopped. Maybe I should say that. Hannah Goldie, I don't know if she's necessarily like a full-time fighter. Like, she's always posting these photos on Instagram and stuff, like half naked. I think she's got, I don't know if she has her OnlyFans, but I don't know. She does some other stuff, photo shoots and stuff like that. I just don't really see this girl as a high-level fighter. I see her, she's just jacked to the Jill. She's more of a bodybuilder, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like Hannah Goldie is going to be stopped one of these days. Well, Molly McCann's a bit of a lunatic. She's going to come out like a mad woman, like she does every single fight. I know she got a lot of decisions on her record. She was about to go to decision last time out as well. That was kind of like a freak knockout, but she's a lunatic. She's going to come forward. We saw Hannah Goldie dropped hard by Diana Belbita, who again is not really a good fighter. She doesn't hit hard either, just like Molly, but she throws a lot. Molly throws a lot. She got dropped by Belbita. She could get dropped by Molly. Molly's crazy. The crowd are going to be going crazy. I don't know. TKO is plus 400, so we'll go with that. She got TKO in her last fight. She's going to want to be doing it again. It was in London. It's in London again. Let's go. Molly.
I'll give you another angle. Earlier in the week, I sent a DM to Liam, and I told him, look at that submission prop on Molly McCann.
I like it. It
was plus 2,600, guys. It was plus 2,600. That's not a mistake. It was on FanDuel. I played it at plus 2,600. And here's the reasoning. Emily Whitmore took Hannah Goldie down twice last fight. Emily Whitmore sucks. Completely sucks. Now, why do I think Molly McCann is live for a sub here? A lot of reasons. Go watch the Procopio fight. She had a freaking deep armbar on Procopio, who's a high-level grappler. And many girls would have tapped there, and Procopio didn't. She knew how to get out of it. The other thing is, watch her fight against Belbita. She goes for submissions in that fight. Watch the fight against Cachoeira. She goes submissions for that fight. Like, she's going to get takedowns here. And if she gets takedowns, I think she's going to go for submissions. And submission is plus 2,600. It's plus 1,200 now. And I still think plus 1,200 is value here, honestly. So I'm going to give Molly McCann by submission. I think she's going to get it here. It might be her first one ever, but she goes for him, guys. And Hannah Goldie sucks, straight up. And it's plus 1,200. Why not? I mean, I don't understand the 2,600 because that was crazy. But yeah, it's plus 1,200 now. I'm still going to give that. I still think that has a little bit of value there. Moving on, it's fight number 11. It's Nikita Krylov versus Alexander Gustafsson. James, kick this one off for us.
Man, this is a big pass fight for me. I'm not going to pass for the Lambo play. I would never do that on Lambo plays, not me. But I just feel like it's a pass fight from the money line perspective. I do think it's probably heading to violence. It's just like Gus has been out for so long. So how much faith do you want to put on him looking bad? And how much faith do you want to put on him looking good? He's still only 35. For the light heavyweight division, it's not a crazy age. They obviously, the heavier they are, they can fight a little bit later into their career. Obviously, he's moving down from heavyweight. In his last fight against Fabricio Verdum, he was heavyweight, kind of probably not training too hard. Yeah, I'll just go up to heavyweight. I won't have to cut weight, whatever. Got submitted in round one there. I was on Fabricio Verdum there at plus 200, which was pretty hilarious when you look back on it. Gustafsson not really taking it properly, but I don't know, man. We'll go with honestly, just something to do with violence. I really have a terrible read on this fight, so I'm not really, looking to play much. But I'll go with Krylov via TKO. It's plus 325, plus 250 at some places, but you can get it around that plus 300 Lambo number. So yeah, I think Krylov can finish this dude. I think Gustafsson could be mentally checked out, and I'm taking Krylov via TKO, but I'm not really too passionate about this fight in general.
I guess this is the one where we'll disagree. Kind of think this fight actually goes over. I think Gus is going to stay on the outside, kicking games, some striking. I think, honestly, he looks like he's in pretty good shape. Obviously, last one out, he was a heavyweight, like you said. He probably didn't train much, but he looks like he's in pretty good shape. He's still 35, to be honest, so he's not that old. Gustafsson by decision, plus 460. Why the heck not? Like, Krylov, pretty durable. If you look, most of his losses, he's been subbed a bunch of times. I don't know if Gustafsson has any like type of big. I was looking at the sub prop, but earlier in his career, he had some subs, but I just feel like he won't grapple much here. Maybe Krylov proactively grapples, and Gustafsson might be able to get a submission because to be honest, like when you look at Krylov, like he has a ton of submission losses. I want to say 6 out of the 9 that he's lost are by sub, but I'm going to give out Gustafsson decision, plus 460. I think he's going to outpoint him from the outside, maybe stuff a couple of takedowns here and there, and maybe get this decision win. Tim, what do you got here?
Yeah, I'll break the tie here. I feel like, wow, that's a big one there from Clint, the old Gus sub round 3. I will not be on the Gus round 3 sub at plus 6,000, even though I should put like a little bit of money on that 61. Anyways, no, I think I agree with you, Mike. I think the fight. I'll first say that I think this is the toughest fight to like cap in the whole card. Like this is just a fucking shit show. Krylov can do so many different things, and you never know what you're going to get with him. And then you look at the real shit show side on Gustafsson, where you're like, how do you cap this fight? So you just don't know. The gap between his ceiling and his floor is like the Red Sea, and you're not getting his ceiling. So I like split decision on this. If it goes, I think it could be greasy. I think it could be close. Alex is 16-1. Nikita is 12-1. Those aren't bad. If this fight goes, I do think that it could be just like a little bit of a volume versus power shot type of situation. And that's always just a perfect situation for split decision.
All right, split decision for the split decision master himself. We will move on. It is fight number 12, Paddy Pimblett versus Jordan Leavitt. I will kick this one off. I really like the Pimblett side, man. I know a lot of people are kind of like on this Leavitt side, and Pimblett sucks, and Pimblett's striking defense is horrible. But look at who's on the other side. Like, is Jordan Leavitt a real threat on the feet? Absolutely not. Jordan Leavitt's path here is probably some kind of submission. But if this stays upright, like honestly, Pimblett is a much better striker. He has more power. He has the better wrestling. I can go on and on. I just don't like Jordan Leavitt whatsoever. Not to say that Pimblett's some, MMA star, maybe with the media and stuff, but as far as fighting, he's not great. But guys, come on, look at the wins for Jordan Leavitt. Like, he's going tooth and nail with Trey Ogden, for Christ's sake. Trey Ogden is not UFC level. He slipped on banana peels. That's how he lost that fight. Jordan Leavitt probably should have lost that fight if he doesn't slip on banana peel in that first round and lose the round, or whatever it was, second round. Like, he wins that fight. Trey Ogden wins that fight, and it was still a split decision. Like, Paddy Pimblett is way better than Trey Ogden. Paddy Pimblett, I think, is going to knock him out early. Round 1 KO plus 550. Give me Paddy Pimblett by KO round 1. I think he's going to starch Jordan Leavitt. And, Jordan Leavitt to me is not UFC level, to be honest. Like, he's a one-trick pony. And even in the one-trick pony, like, he doesn't even have good wrestling. So, yeah, give me Paddy Pimblett here, man. Paddy is not losing to this guy. Tim, what do you got?
Yeah, I like where you're at. KO1, KO2, plus 550, plus 950. If he doesn't KO him by that time, I don't think he's necessarily like having as much success on the feet as we would think, which would be very surprising to be. So I agree. Like, this is not the time to fade Paddy. There will be a time, and it'll be glorious, but this is not the time.
I know a lot of people want to plant their flag in Jordan Leavitt, but this is not the guy, guys.
Y'all want to be the first.
Maybe I eat my words. Maybe I'm so far off here. Maybe I'm an idiot for looking at it like this, but
like it doesn't count in a fade. Like it just. I love when people do this.
Jordan
Like they lose like 4 times fading somebody, like or 3 times fading somebody, and then they fucking get him, and they're like, "Dude, I got you." You're like, "Dude, you're minus like 5 units on this."
I mean, can we say something? Can he at least have good wrestling and a good ground game, or at least like very good striking? Like Jordan Leavitt doesn't have those things, man. That's Paddy Pimblett's weakness, and he just doesn't have them.
Hey, did we get that KO?
I don't know.
Yes,
James,
we did.
Let's move on. We got to give this floor to James. What do you like here, James?
Yeah, I think Jordan Leavitt is a terrible fighter. He's 4-1, I think, under the UFC banner. 3-1 in the UFC, and then you got that Contender Series fight. He should be inducted into the Hall of Fame for going 3-1 in the UFC as himself. I don't know how he's managed to do it. I think he definitely takes a loss this weekend. People are rushing to fade Paddy because they don't like him. They don't like his hairstyle. They don't like his attitude, his confidence, whatever. You know, when people are very confident and outspoken, people hate that. You know, it is what it is. Obviously, I understand how people can be rubbed the wrong way. They just don't understand people from Liverpool. I mean, most of the people who watch the UFC, like you dudes, you know, Americans, you know, like, so you see this dude from Liverpool. I've grown up around them. I'm from London, but there's been many Liverpool people I've come across. I've spent time in Liverpool. I know how Scousers are, right? But sitting, you know, in your front room in America, you know, watching Paddy the Baddy do some mad interview where he's talking about lizards and crabs, you're probably like, what the fuck is this guy? You know, get this guy off my screen. So I understand. And then that, obviously, if you gamble, people gamble with their heart and emotions. So they want to fade him. They're like, fuck this little dude, you know, with his silly haircut. Let's fade him. But honestly, I don't think this is the spot. I think he knocks out Jordan Leavitt. So we'll go with Paddy via knockout, plus 240. But we'll also go with Paddy via knockout in round 1 because he comes out like a madman. Most of his finishes in round 1. Jordan Leavitt's terrible. He's not going to, you know, wake up till he gets hit a few times. And even then, he's just going to flop to his back. So, yeah, I'm with you, Narco. Paddy via KO. KO in round 1, plus 550, plus 600, whatever. Let's roll.
I'll be honest. I have 5 units on Paddy Pimblett at minus 255. And somehow the line is now 250 on FanDuel. And I'm really think of adding 5 more. I'm that serious. Like I feel like this line is so off. But again, maybe I'm an idiot. You know, people love to fade Paddy Pimblett, but listen, Luigi Vendramini is a much better striker, has a lot more power. Rodrigo Vargas is a lot more dangerous to me than fucking Jordan Leavitt is. I don't want to hear it. Like Jordan Leavitt is, I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to be in the UFC very long, doing splits and doing all that other nonsense that he does.
Yeah.
Moving on.
The only thing I'll say, just because, you know, you're talking about a big bet. The only thing I'll say is that the reason Jordan Leavitt's gone 3-1 is because he has this uncanny ability to drag fighters into this weird grappling point fight, strange type of fight, you know. Trey Ogden is not really that type of fighter who's going to just go grappling back and forth and be quite tentative. You know, I remember when I was taping him, you know, he's quite like, I'll come forward and throw some heavy shots. He didn't really want to do it against Jordan Leavitt as much as I've seen him before. Claudio Puelles, you know, he's been submitting a lot of guys. He couldn't submit Jordan Leavitt. It was a weird back and forth grappling, strange fight. Jordan Leavitt has this weird type of, you know, spell. So maybe he can do it to Paddy where, you know, it's just some strange grappling fight where it's kind of close. I don't think Paddy's the type of fighter you can do it to. I think Paddy's going to make it a hell fight. But that's the only thing I'll say positive about Jordan Leavitt is that he's got this weird type of spell where he kind of makes you grapple fuck, you know.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like Matt Sales was touching him up pretty bad. Lavian Lewis hurt him pretty bad. I don't know, man. I think Jordan, I'll say this. Jordan Leavitt's path is literally submission. He's not winning any other way, in my opinion. But we'll move on. It is the co-main event of the night. It is Jack Hermansson versus Chris Curtis. Tim, kick this one off.
Yeah, I made a money line bet on Jack earlier today. I think that he's going to get him down on the ground and then he's going to fuck him up. Don't know whether or not he's going to get him by sub or get him by KO. So I'll just take a little light stab on the inside the distance. It's a Corolla. It's plus like 280. I just feel like that's going to be his path. If he gets him down multiple times and just holds him, he could win a decision too, but I'll take a shot on the inside the distance. They're pretty much around the same line, but I did put 2.5 units on his money line. I do feel like this is where the Curtis train stops, and I feel like he's going to have an advantage. Specifically, he gets shit for like his takedowns. It's just the style. His style is Greco-Roman. He's not like a freestyle wrestler where he's going to shoot power like double legs and get single legs where he's like just overwhelming you. It's like chain wrestling. It's more body lock, clinch, trips and sweeps and stuff like that to get people down. And then, obviously if he doesn't have success doing that, I feel like Curtis is majorly live, and this is why it's lined the way that it is. It's pretty binary. I feel that he's a little bit closer in the feet than people are giving him credit. Jack is. I feel like also the countering style and low volume style on Curtis, even if Jack isn't able to get takedowns, I think that he could still win a decision. I think it'll be hard, but I think he still could win this decision too.
All right. He is all over the Jack side. James, what do you have here on this co-main event?
Yeah, I actually like the Curtis side in this fight. And I did in his last fight, and I went against what seemed like the whole world. Everyone was on Rodolfo Vieira there. I actually played Chris Curtis, but I fucked up and I played him via round 2 and round 3 because I just thought they'd be able to defend the takedowns. I didn't think Rodolfo Vieira had much in the way of wrestling. And I thought that Rodolfo would gas out trying to take him down and Curtis would finish him late via attrition. That almost happened. It was very close to happening. Multiple times he got cracked, but Rodolfo Vieira went 0 for 20 on takedowns and still pushed to that third round, which is kind of crazy when you look back at his Fluffy Hernandez fight, just completely gasses out. Even that Safarov fight almost got knocked out, seemed kind of gassed from the shot there, got a Hail Mary submission. I was very surprised he was able to go 3 rounds there. So, that was a lesson for me. I should have just played the Chris Curtis money line. What I will say is that in this fight, I think, he poses a tougher threat, Jack Hermansson than Rodolfo Vieira. I still don't think Jack Hermansson has good takedowns. Whether it's Greco-Roman, single legs, whatever, I don't think they are good. I don't think he has good takedowns. He went 0 for 8 against Sean Strickland. He went 2 for 10 or something against Vettori. And even one of those, Vettori instantly hit the switch on him. And I think the other one, Vettori, got straight back to his feet. Shabazian, I feel like you should be finishing Shabazian if you're on top. I know he has very good top control. Look, that should have been a finish. It was absolutely brutal in that third round. Still went to decision there. I don't think Chris Curtis is instantly going to lose if he gets taken down. I think he can survive that round, and I think he can win the next 2 or survive 1 round and win the other 2. Jack has very good top control. He reminds me of Luke Rockhold on top. I'm breaking the whole fight down now, right? But basically, the Lambo play is Chris Curtis via decision at plus 350. I think he can stop the takedowns of Jack Hermansson. I just think it's a decent stylistic matchup from him. I think he's shown good takedown defense against Vieira, but more importantly against Magomed Karimov in PFL. He got taken down multiple times in those fights, but he also stopped multiple takedowns in those fights. And he stayed safe on bottom from a good submission artist. So I think it's a decent spot for Chris Curtis, and I think he can win a decision at plus 350. That's my Lambo play.
All right. He is on the Chris Curtis side by decision. I'm also on the Chris Curtis side. I got him early at the opener at plus 140. The line has moved a lot now. And I mean, here's the thing. I see where people are saying, Jack is a big guy and Jack can get a takedown and he can maul him when he's on top. And I agree with some of those points. But now we've had a big sample size of Chris Curtis takedown defense. I mean, 20 defended takedowns against Vieira. I mean, I don't care what you think about Vieira's wrestling, but the guy is strong. The guy is big. And when he's bull rushing forward like that, he's getting almost everybody down. There's a reason why Chris Curtis defended all those takedowns, man. Like everything he did was correct. He put the overhook. He held the arm. He held the wrist. Like he wasn't letting Vieira get off on those takedowns, man. And even when he hit the ground, he was jumping right back up. He had the whizzer. He jumped right back up against a guy like, he stuffed takedowns against Allen. And Allen, okay, fine. He doesn't have great wrestling. But does Phil Hawes have good wrestling? Absolutely he does. He stuffed 3 takedowns against Phil Hawes. Like you mentioned against Magomed Kirimov, he stuffed a lot of takedowns in those fights. Yeah, Magomed Kirimov got him down, but I also think Magomed Kirimov is a lot more creative, is a better wrestler than Hermansson is. So with that being said, I'm going to go to the well that you went to last time, Lucrative, and I'm going to go with Chris Curtis round 2, round 3 KO at plus 490. And I'll tell you why. And this is my main reason. Rodolfo Vieira, to me, is extremely durable, guys. The body shots that Rodolfo Vieira took in that fight, not too many people can take. I'm telling you guys right now. And if this fight doesn't go Hermansson's way, and Hermansson's guard is always up here. He's always blocking his face, but his body is always wide open. And Chris Curtis loves going to the body. I think he stops him late with body shots. Like, I think he makes him crumble with body shots in this fight. So round 2, round 3 KO, plus 490, Chris Curtis, I'm on that side. I think Chris Curtis stuffed takedowns, and I think Chris Curtis eventually stops Jack Hermansson in this fight. But with that being said, before I move on to the main event, I want to thank every one of you in chat. There's 50 of you in here. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's not a show without you guys here. So thank you very much. After being off for 2 weeks, I love seeing this many people in here. Thank you again. And we will move on to the main event. It is Curtis Razor Blaydes versus Tom Aspinall. James, kick this one off for us.
It's only right I kick it off, right? My boy, fellow Englishman, Tommy Aspinall, is taking on the toughest test by far in his career. So just a little background on my thoughts on Tom Aspinall. Ever since he come in the UFC, I've had 2 questions from him. Does he have good cardio? And has his wrestling improved? On the regional scene, we saw him taken down multiple times by Stuart Austin, a fight where he was brutalizing Stuart Austin as well. But he was taken down multiple times and submitted with a heel hook. So instantly, when he comes into the UFC, you're like, all right, he's never been past 6 minutes or whatever it was. One time he got stopped via heel hook, whatever. So does he have good cardio? Does he have good wrestling? Now, I still don't have those questions answered. I honestly don't. The Arlovsky fight, his cardio looked like it was kind of failing him at the end of that first round. But he threw the kitchen sink and the toilet sink at Andrei Arlovsky in that first round. So we give him a bit of a pass on the cardio. Did finish in round 2. So we give him a bit of a pass on the cardio. And then has his wrestling improved? Well, he hasn't really fought anyone that tested it. I think Spivak might have went for 1 or 2, but we still don't know. Curtis Blaydes is going to probably test your wrestling, and he's probably going to test your cardio, honestly. But with all that being said, I think Tom Aspinall has extremely high fight IQ. I think Tom Aspinall is extremely fast, one of the fastest in that division. I think he hits really hard. I think he hits I think his accuracy is so on point that, that's why he knocks a lot of people out. As they say, timing beats speed. And I think his timing is extremely sharp. So I do think that's why he gets a lot of knockouts on his record. I think he can make reads in this fight. The thing about Curtis Blaydes is he needs to get his range. He needs to get his range before he shoots the takedowns. Usually throws a couple of hands before he gets those takedowns. Because if he doesn't get his range, we see what happens to him. In Francis Ngannou, a couple of takedowns he shot. And in the Derek Lewis fight, he got knocked out there. So I do think that Aspinall's smart enough to disrupt Curtis Blaydes getting those early reads in the striking. And so if Curtis Blaydes isn't able to get in that flow, that striking wrestling flow, he isn't able to shoot good takedowns. And if you're not able to shoot good takedowns, you might get knocked out. Look, I'm going with my boy Tom Aspinall here. I'm going with him to get a first or second round knockout. I say he makes reads. I say he is able to finish Curtis Blaydes with a step-in knee and, a flurry of strikes. Curtis Blaydes is extremely durable, one of the most durable in the entire heavyweight division. So it's hard for me to see a flash. It's hard for me to see a flash knockout, like a one-punch knockout, like a Derek Lewis over Curtis Blaydes. But I'll go with Aspinall in round one, plus 360, plus 370. I think he can make reads and get a knockout here. But in terms of a money line perspective, I'm not betting it. I don't want people to run to the bookies to do that because I'm not convinced that Tom wins this fight at all. But in terms of a Lambo play, I'll take the round one knockout with Aspinall.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I don't have a good take on the money line perspective. I see Pats for both guys. And in fights where I feel like there's too many question marks one way or the other, I kind of want to, that's what I'm doing lately. I'm staying away from money lines when I have a lot of questions that I don't have answered from tape. Will Tom Aspinall gas? Maybe. Can we say with 100% fact that he's going to gas? Absolutely not. Is he, the one thing I will say that's a factor here that no one I've heard talk about, and I've mentioned it. What if Tom Aspinall decides to grapple and gets Blaydes on his back? Because Blaydes has been put on his back before. I want people to know that. Like, he's been put on his back before. What happens if Tom Aspinall is on top of Razor Blaydes, right? I think submission grappling comes into play now when he's on top, I think. So the thing is, there's too many questions unanswered, and I'm not willing to take a money line. I do like the under 3.5 for some reasons. But it's the Lambo podcast. I have to give one because James is going to beat me up because I already passed on one and I can't do another one. So what I will give is Aspinall round 1, round 2 KO. It's plus 270. If he can keep this upright, man, the speed advantage is pretty big. His hand speed is a pretty big advantage against Blaydes. His footwork is much better than Razor Blaydes. So yeah, man, I mean, I'm banking on the fact that he keeps this upright. And if he does keep it upright, I think he's going to probably land some nice shots on Curtis Blaydes. And I think that, when you look at him face to face, like, fucking Aspinall, look, a taller guy, you could see he has an inch or two on him. And yeah, man, I just feel like the striking, there's a big discrepancy in striking in this fight. So yeah, I'm going to go with Aspinall round 1, round 2 KO plus 270, but I'm not really messing with this from a money line perspective. Tim, what do you have?
I am on the other side. I do see completely your guys' points on Tom. He's super impressive. He burned a lot of my money against Volkov, and that was painful. But no, I respect to him, man. He great performance. That takedown attempt against him was perfectly set up. It was super fast. And at this weight class, it's not always about like just technique. It's just like if you're just strong, a lot of times they're just strong as shit and quick, and they get their hands around your legs and you're just fucked. There's just no chance at that point. It's like football. And so I think that is, I agree with you. It would be interesting to see if he does shoot first and what happens there if he does. That being said, if he does shoot and it gets to that type of fight, that's going to definitely tax his cardio more than if he does just try to keep his distance and pick his shots and try to just bonk him. I'm on the KO 2 through 4 for Curtis Blaydes. I feel like, he could get him out in round 1, but I feel like he's going to probably try to play it a little bit more conservatively. He has not gone for takedowns early in his last couple fights, which is a lot of people are shitting their pants when they was fighting against Diakiese and he was just piecing him up and they're like, why aren't you shooting? Why aren't you shooting? So yeah, plus 700 is That's pretty solid for me on 2 through 4 KO for Blaydes.
All right. You know what's crazy? When you look at Blaydes' career, like people haven't really even attempted takedowns. Like Volkov got him down once, which is not a great look. I think he was tired too. But like Cody East is the last guy to like really attempt takedowns, and he got him down 3 times, man. He got Razor Blaydes down 3 times. So that's why I'm saying, like, if Aspinall, like, think about it, like, Blaydes might not be expecting it. Like, he's thinking, oh, you know, Aspinall, he wants to stay on the feet. Like, and if he shoots for a takedown, like, we saw him shoot very nicely against Volkov and get him down. Like, he can do it. Like, don't be surprised if Aspinall's on top. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I know Blaydes is like some great wrestler, great grappler, but when you face something that it's unexpected, you're gonna go down probably. So, and the quickness is on Aspinall's side. So, yeah, I mean, it should be an interesting fight. Very, very interesting fight. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's card. It's a pretty good card actually. I like what I see from this card. But yeah, man. Thank you everybody for staying with us. I mean, it's late now. I want to thank Tim, my co-host, and I also want to especially thank James for coming on. It's really early, I think, out there in are you in New Zealand or Australia? Australia, right?
Yeah, I moved now. I'm in Australia for the time being.
Yeah, I heard you say that. Yeah. Melbourne, right?
I'm in Melbourne, yeah, right.
Yeah,
now.
Melbourne. I have family in Melbourne, actually. I've been there
really?
twice. I've been there twice.
Come over. I'm gonna be here for a few
love
months.
Melbourne, man.
How long are you going to be there for?
Actually, I got my aunt and all my cousins live in Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm here for a few months. Take a flight over and we'll go watch an Aussie rules game.
Yeah, I would love to. One day we're going to meet one day, whether it be in Vegas, whether it be in Australia. I have to make a trip.
I want to give it, talking about one day we're going to meet. I've been in a few Kappa's DMs. I'm trying to get Andrew Gombas out here. I know he bets a decent amount of money, so he probably has the money for it. UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev, the best fighter in the UFC. Amanda Lemos is on the card. Peter Yan versus Sugar Sean. It's a crazy card. It's right next to Dubai. I want to go in Dubai, Kappa meet up in Dubai. We'll eat in an underwater restaurant. We'll go see the Burj Khalifa. And then the week after, we'll go to Abu Dhabi, watch the one of the best fights in UFC history, take a lot of pictures, eat a lot of good food, and have a good time. I don't know who's down for it. I know it's kind of short notice, a few months, but if anybody wants to come to UFC 280, I want to go. I don't know if I'm going to go yet. If we get a few people, I might be down to go. So
man, you know what?
Open invitation.
I'm always down to go. I don't mind vacations. I love them. But, man, it's such short notice for me with the move because my family moved to Arizona. I'm moving out there. Kids are going to be starting school. My wife is working. I have to kind of take the kids to school.
Life.
There's a lot of shit going on. So I definitely probably can't go. But listen, in the future, if you guys plan something and we could do it ahead of time, I am definitely in. I'm always down for a vacation. I would love to meet all of you guys in person and have a blast, man.
We'll do something.
But yeah, James, thank you very much. I want to leave the floor over to you. I did leave his link down below for his website. He puts his plays there. It's behind the paywall, but the guy is a winning bettor year after year after year. So guys, like you're paying for something, but you're getting the money right back in your pocket because all he does is win every single year with MMA. So James, the floor is yours. Tell them where they can find you, what you have going on, and where they can buy your picks. Yeah,
appreciate that, my man. Yeah, I got my website, lucrativemmabetting.com. That's where I put my picks. It's behind the paywall. We've won. I've been in the gambling scene for like over 10 years. More like 15 years. I was in the gambling scene at literally 3-4 years old. Grew up around it. I've been winning on MMA for over 5 years. Been track bets for about 3 years now. We've won every single year. We're up about 22 units. After Bellator tonight, it's going to be about 30 units this year, which honestly, I'm disappointed in. I'm disappointed in the year I've had, and I don't like saying I'm up 30 units. Most people, they'd be like, yeah, I'm up 30 units this year, but I feel like I could do a lot better. I want to give a big shout out to you. You're on an amazing run this year. long may it continue for you, for all of us. But yeah, you can go to my website to get my bets, all my official bets for the UFC and whatever. But I do want people to follow me on YouTube, because I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos on YouTube in the future. I'm going to be helping people on how to make money betting on MMA. Not breaking down fights, but just other videos, how to make money betting on MMA. So go to Lucrative MMA Betting YouTube channel, subscribe. It's free. All the content's going to be free on there. I put out loads of free content every single week. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate you letting me have the floor. It's been fun like it always has. I'm pretty sure we're going to cash a couple of these plays. I'm really hoping we cash the Mason Jones submission round 2 and round 3 play, because I got quite a lot of money on those plays, you know, in different ways. So that's the one that I really want anyway. But hopefully we can cash a few, and appreciate you letting me on once again.
Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate you coming on, giving us your insight. Always great to have you. Tim, where can they find you? What do you have going on? You're always on Spaces. Let them know. The master of the split decision, Timothy Troiano. Go ahead, brother.
Thanks, dude. James, awesome with you again. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate your time. And yeah, I mean, Spaces Wednesday, and usually do Saturdays, but we don't have it tomorrow because we got the early card. But yeah, we're going to do usually Chajik and Sean and I do, Liam, what's up, man? Do the Spaces Wednesday and Saturdays. And then tomorrow I will 100% be with you at Bet Rivers, chilling out, watching these fights, and then get to do the old the best is hanging the Bet Rivers. That VIP room is going to be pretty fun tomorrow. So I can't wait to do that. Get on the live Spaces with you and Martian, because that space rocks. Thanks again.
Yeah, and speaking of goats, one of the goats, this guy's the goat of the year. He's probably up 500 units this year. Liam is in the chat. What's up, my brother? Thank you for the kind comments. We appreciate it. Yeah, guys.
Liam. You said his
Oh,
name.
yeah, Liam. Only I could say that. Only I could say that.
Old school James.
Liam took over Liam.
Only the true G's know that one, dude.
I also actually we have to do Lambo play parlays because Mushroom's gonna kill us. Then I also have a very good announcement that involves Liam or Liam. But yeah, let's do our Lambo parlays because Mushroom's gonna kick my ass if I don't. I almost forgot. This time it's real, Mushroom. I did almost forget. But I will give mine first. It is Wood by decision, Diakiese by decision, Molly McCann by submission, and Patty Pimblett by KO. It will give you 175 to 1. So $100. 17,500, guys. That is my Lambo parlay. Tim, what is yours?
All right, I'll put my money where my mouth is this week on my Diakiese by sub against you guys. I'll do Diakiese by sub and Mason Jones by sub, and it's plus 175 to 1. 160.
All right, right there with me. 175 to 1, but only 2 plays, guys. James, do you have one by any chance?
Yeah, I'm just making it right now. Can you stall for like 30
yes,
seconds?
So let me, before I go on, so I will thank everybody in chat first. I will announce that there's Spaces tomorrow, our live Spaces per usual at 11 a.m. Bringing you the live Spaces straight from Rivers Casino in the VIP room with Timothy Troiano, with C. Hansen and a couple other guys. We will be doing the live Spaces. We've been killing it on those live Spaces. Also, look out for these pop-up live Spaces that I have with Cage Warriors, with Bellator. I've been on an absolute run with these regionals too, guys. Killed it again today. A little over 5 units today going into the weekend. It's always nice to be up. But before I make the announcement, I think James is ready. Are you ready, James? All right,
ready.
Go ahead, my brother.
So we got Mason Jones via submission. We got Chris Curtis via decision. We've got Nathaniel Wood via decision. And we cap it off with Amirkhani wins by submission. That is plus This is a big number. This is plus 25,923. So 259 to 1. Yeah, you can definitely buy a Lambo.
Guys, if you can't get a Lambo with that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. 259 to 1. I like it. But yeah, my official announcement, I kind of teased it on Twitter. You guys know that I love Dana White's Contender Series. I crushed Dana White Contender Series last year, but there also was a couple of guys that crushed Dana White Contender Series with me. And one of them was Liam, and the other one was Gordo Gambles. They had a podcast on their own last week. I had my own. And so what we decided to do is we will bring you a Dana White's Contender Series podcast every Monday on YouTube. We will be, sometimes it'll be on my channel, sometimes on Liam's channel. But yeah, man, we're collaborating. We're going to bring you guys some fucking great takes on Dana White Contender Series. And hopefully we will absolutely kill it for you guys again this season, as we have 10 weeks of Dana White Contender Series starting this Tuesday. So we will be back on Monday. We don't have an actual official time, but I think it's going to be somewhere around 8 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern, something like that. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Good luck with your bets tomorrow, and let's cash some tickets, guys.